Hey. So my story is a path seldom taken, I guess. Let me just run through it quickly. So I'm from IIM Bangalore, 86, 88 batch, largely in software. Now I've wandered into healthcare and we'll talk about it a little bit. And I live in San Francisco with my wife, 12-year-old daughter. Apart from work, I love coaching my daughter who's in high performance junior tennis and always had an abiding interest in cultural anthropology. So, I'm going to talk about rare diseases, and the statistics are pretty grim. 350 million patients worldwide, 234 million are children because it's mostly genetic. 20% will die by the age of 5, and because of these reasons. There are 7,000 plus known rare diseases, each with a relatively small population. Pharma has not figured out how to solve this problem. So, 5% of the diseases have drugs, and the average price of a drug is $147,000 per patient per year. And that's my niece. Her drug costs around $300,000 per year. So I got interested in this because my niece had cystic fibrosis, and I was frankly doing a pretty boring job, and maybe I was having a midlife crisis. I said, let me try to do something useful. And I had an abiding interest in entrepreneurship and technology. Said, okay, let's try it. And I felt like outsiders had a huge role to play because I'm from IIT. I got a big alum network out there too. A lot of people in pharma. But I tell you, after you talk to them, they live in a box. And I felt there's a huge role for outsiders. So we raised about $1 million, and then we went down a path where we tried to work with pharma. And soon realized that you can only rearrange the deck chairs because they are so profitable, so risk averse. You've got to do something outside. And we feel that technology today can allow you to do that, right? And there are many ways in which technology can change the whole playing field, but I'm going to just talk about one: rare diseases, small populations, geographically scattered, but the web brings them together. They're highly motivated, and they have some strengths that surprisingly can change the ecosystem. And the other thing I want to point out is that this segment is desperate for change. Huge segment, desperate for change, and nobody's more motivated than a parent whose child is either dying from the disease or, has got this incurable disease with no drugs. And the other big thing about this segment is that it can strike anybody. There are millionaires whose kids have rare diseases, poor people in third world countries. So it's not like a third world disease. It's a disease that can affect anybody. And I want to just go through some of the factors, strengths that rare disease populations bring to the table. Risk tolerance, we talked about it. I mean, they could do anything, right? They're more willing to share IP. And I guess the arrow should be the other way. They are willing to do low-cost business. They can go to India, China, anywhere to do it, right? And there's a lot of empathy. These stories are very powerful, right? Whether it's regulators or whether it's the public, they can push the boundaries that pharma cannot. And I'm going to talk about a couple of ways in which we proved this. Like, we found that even small patient groups can crowdfund, because in today's world, everybody has large social networks. And with their powerful stories, it's not hard to get people to donate $100 or $50. Put together, that adds up. Okay, like if they can raise $500,000 a year, and there are thousands of these groups, if we can channel that money, it becomes billions over years, right? And this can easily be augmented with grants and philanthropy. Oops. Okay. So basically, and the way you can change the equation is rethinking cost and risk, right? There's 7,000 rare diseases. With technology, you can, and with their willingness to share, you can do a lot more. You can drive the cost down through network effects and economies of scale. And like I said, open to global outsourcing. So that was like a green arrow. I don't know what happened with that. So, so when we pivoted, we said we want to be like companies that have changed the entire business. So we take inspiration from these companies. And just to give you an idea, when I'm talking, we want to create the platform just like these guys did to bring together all the players, whether it's, global service providers, the philanthropy community, and these patient groups. And the idea is to become more of a social enterprise and at the same time be a sustainable business, which means, it's not just a not-for-profit, because I feel to be sustainable, it has to have, a for-profit component. And we've gone to all, the VCs and the, I don't know how many of you know, the JP Morgan conference, which is the biggest conference in healthcare. That crowd is not going to fund something like this. It's got to be people, maybe people from the tech sector who have made it big, want to create a legacy. So that's the path rarely taken that I've wandered down. So happy to answer any questions.
Manu, not a question, but sharing my experience. Actually, I have 2 kids with cystic fibrosis, and that's the reason.
That's so surprising. I thought it was a, Caucasian disease.
No, it's
like,
not. It's just that in India, it doesn't get detected.
Right.
So that's the reason why actually we moved to US. I just moved 2 years back, and obviously obviously the detection was very, very poor in India. The chances of getting that right medication and all those things are very difficult. So we have moved US because of that, and this is a forum which I can get to connect to Manu and get more information about this. Thank you.
Thank you very